So it's a new month, and Ethereum in the last month for May has very much shown strength, being one of the best performing cryptos in the space, up 42% in the last month, and that's compared to Bitcoin, Solana, BNB, all up approximately 10%. In fact, if you go into the last week, everything's been pretty much decimated, but Ethereum is hanging in there pretty much at break even, where cryptocurrencies like Solana, 𝗬𝗍, Bitcoin, 𝗧𝗍𝗄, they're all down. So there are some promising signs. Just if you're watching this today, Ethereum is also leading. Now, what I find very interesting when it comes to historical monthly returns, June, which we're in now, tends to be pretty challenging for Ethereum. In fact, it has one of the worst monthly returns at minus 5.65%. Only September is worse than June. But in other Q1s, January, February, March, things have been very, very bullish, where this year was very bearish. Are we seeing a shift in pattern where the returns are coming slightly later? Like, for example, May was one of the best on records, particularly in the last 5-6 years, at 41%. I think things are looking actually incredibly bullish for Ethereum right now. We're starting to see the ETF inflows outdoing Bitcoin. So for example, yesterday, June 2nd, ETF flows were out for Bitcoin. $250 million outflow in Bitcoin, and we saw $78 million inflow into Ethereum. And not only is Ethereum doing well on price, the sentiment is arguably better, where the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index is a higher greed factor than Ethereum, meaning Ethereum has a bigger upshot potential. So in a moment, we're going to look through the higher time frame charts and some lower time frame charts to give you my stop loss and take profit level. And just a quick smash of the like button, guys. So we saw Ethereum break to the downside out of this range. We were looking at this support level and it broke. In fact, if you're in the Telegram group, I did make a post about this. This was on the 29th of May. I basically showed this chart and I said that we're likely going to come down to about $2,471, and we came down to hit that level exact. So if you're in the Telegram group, congratulations, you probably took a short like some of us did on the low time frame and made some money there. If you want to join the Telegram group, it's free. The link is in the description below. Just click down below and it will you'll open the Telegram group and join there. What I am looking at closely in the Ethereum chart right now is these major levels, and take note of these levels because they're very, very key. Resistance, $2,620. Support, $2,500. If we break back above this level of previous support that we broke, you then need to look at the resistance at $2,730 once again. But the range, the bigger range, you could go down all the way to $2,260 as a support for this still to remain as a bull flag. It is a bull flag and we are still creating these higher highs. And actually, things do look promising that we are going to start making our way into higher price action. In fact, I do believe $4,000 is going to come pretty soon. Why? Well, like Ash Crypto said, the weekly shows we can pump to $4,000 in the next 4 to 5 weeks. I actually think it could be sooner than that. We have a weekly RSI breakout, as you can see here. We have a bullish MACD crossover, which we had here, the same as what we had in November when we got that beautiful rally. We also have the stochastic RSI looking bullish. We have the continued, of course, Ethereum ETF inflows like we just talked about. And by the way, just to show you, we are now on a 3-week winning streak. We haven't had a bearish ETF inflow since the 15th of May, and it's now the 3rd of June. So that's almost 3 weeks of positive inflow data into the ETF. Very, very positive. And we have, of course, M2 money supply increasing. Another thing, actually, just while we're on that subject, that I mentioned in the Telegram group, a lot of you will be asking me about my trade. I mentioned in the Telegram group that I've closed this trade, not because I'm bearish, but for some reallocation into some other trades on the lower time frame for Ethereum and other altcoins as well. So just to update you on that. The other thing I will show you that I think is very important to look at are some other time frames, like the higher time frame. This is where we are right now. We've come off the bottom at 1500, and we're now at this $2,500 level. I believe 4,000 is the next target, 7,000. I do still believe we can go much, much higher in this cycle. I believe we are looking at, you know, all the way up to $15,000, $20,000 in this cycle. The other thing you have to look at is Bitcoin. It's range bound, it's consolidating, but I do believe it's kind of supported by this $101,000 to $103,000 support level. I believe it's bottomed. If Bitcoin did lose this support level being this uprising support, you then need to look at approximately 101,000. Obviously, if it lost 101,000, you're back at this kind of $93,000 to $95,000 Bitcoin support level. But I'm not so sure we're going to hit that level. We'll talk about that if we hit that level. And the other thing, guys, is if anyone wants to take a long, do so with my FEMX bonus. 1, because there's no KYC. 2, because it's a great UI, great UX platform. High security, high liquidity, and you can trade altcoins and etc. But the biggest benefit of all, in addition to that, is you will get 20% back as a cashback reward on your first deposit. So using this link, guys, 20% cashback and no KYC. So essentially free crypto up to $500, guys. So I remain bullish. I believe this bull flag is still intact. I do believe we're going much higher. I'm looking at $3,500 to $4,000 as my next target. When I'm not posting on YouTube, guys, I'm posting here in my free Telegram trade signals group, all the insights, low time frame, medium, high time frame. I'm not just posting about Ethereum. I'm posting, you know, about altcoins, meme coins, for example, when SPX had a big rally, one of my big positions, meme coins as well. So thank you for joining me, guys, and I'll see you on another video very soon. Take care. Bye.